Boom bow. Welcome back, Caddy Corner, episode 6.
Yes.
Yes, I got it right this time.
I think you got it right.
I think so. If not, then I'm sorry. But welcome back to Caddy Corner, episode 6. We are back with kind of a different format of the show, a little bit different. I don't know what we're going to call it yet. Haven't really given it a name.
No.
But Caleb and I basically just came up with some questions that hopefully we're going to bring up like good responses from each of us.
Yeah, and just start some good conversations and stuff.
And just have a little talk,
Yep.
podcast style.
Podcast style.
It's
I like it.
It's funny how that works. So, you go first. Set the tone. We have not seen each other's questions, by the way, just so that is on the record. So I have no idea what you're going to ask me. And also, I wanted to ask you, do you want to answer the question too, or do you don't just me to answer?
No, whenever I wrote my questions,
You want to answer too?
yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll do the same for mine.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, so let's just jump right into this thing. My first question, we're just jumping right in. I didn't want to like go easy on you or anything. All these are pretty
tough.
deep.
All right.
The first question is, what do you love most about life?
About life?
Yep.
So, that's a good one there, huh? I would say what I love most about life is being able to kind of do whatever it is that I want to do, whenever I want to do that thing.
Right.
And like that's such an easy, like, cause like you can say that and it doesn't really mean anything, but that's something that I've like really committed to and really worked on over the past, like, however long, I guess like freshman year of college, is like focusing on doing what I want to do and not really letting anybody get in the way of that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I love most about life. Just being able to, like, I wake up every day and then I just kind of like do what I want to do. There are things that I have to do that I don't want to do.
Sure.
But I definitely make sure that I do things that I want to do every day. That's what I love most about life, I think.
I would say that the thing that I love most about life is relationships.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Because like I have a great relationship with like all of my family, and then I have like great friendships. Like me and you have a great friendship. All of my buddies, we have great friendships. My girlfriend, have a great relationship with her. And so I think that that's just the thing that I like take for granted most of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
But whenever I like really sit down and like think about like, dang, like whenever I was writing these questions, I was like, dang, what do I love most about life? And that's like the one thing that I kept going back to is just like relationships, because like for me, relationships are the thing that everything is based off of.
Like the glue.
Sure. And so I would just say that that is the answer for me.
That's a good one.
Yep.
That's a good one. I got mine here for you. All right. So
All right.
Was that like your easiest question?
Probably.
Okay. So my easiest question for you would be like, what motivates you every day to be your best?
Finished products.
Yeah, complete stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that is the thing that gets me up in the morning. It's just like waking up and like I'm sure all you know so far that I work construction. So I go to work and every time I leave work, there's something finished that like I completed. And to me, that's so satisfying. And like the same thing here at this podcast, I record this podcast and then I edit it and then it's finished, and then it gets posted. So I think that that is probably what motivates me the most, is just being able to put my hands on something and then getting something done and then getting it out there.
Right.
That's what motivates me.
There you go. Yeah. For me, it's like progression, like feeling like you've accomplished something. It's similar to what you said, but like less in like I have a thing that I did and here it is, or even like in the digital world or whatever. Like mine is more so like I worked out, or
Sure.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like just knowing that like I'm doing things that are productive and like are progressing me towards a goal. Like that's what gets me up every day.
Yeah.
That's what gets me up every day for sure.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right. My next question here is, if you could change one thing about your past, what would it be?
That's a good question. I think that I would say the freshman and sophomore year of high school, I was really not like overly obsessed, and I don't want to like over like say my situation, but I was like I cared about what other people thought a lot, and so I like did things for the wrong reasons. And so like that's something that like I don't like wish I didn't do it, but
Sure.
I just more so like I know that if I had like gotten to the point where I am now, where like I just do kind of what I want to do and it doesn't really matter, like I maybe would be like further along, like maybe in this journey, maybe, or something like that. I would say that that's really the only thing that I would change about my past, because that's something that like obsessed that I was worried about even in like middle school and like like
Yeah.
normal like high school stuff that
100%.
because it just doesn't matter.
Right.
So and I realize that now because it's like pretty obvious, but at the time
Yeah.
it was tough. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally agree. I would not change anything about my past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would either though.
Like if somebody gave me like a magical opportunity and they were like, you can go back and change something about your past, like I don't think I would do it. Because I love where I'm at right now, and I think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
If something along the line didn't happen the way that it happened, then I wouldn't be here today. So
I think about that the same way, like butterfly effect, hardcore.
100%.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't change anything, just because like I love where I'm at and I love the people that are surrounding me and everything like that.
Definitely. So. And something else that I would say too is like, if it's more of like a recent thing, like maybe starting this sooner.
Yeah.
Not that we're in a bad place now doing what we do.
Sure.
But, I mean, if we had started in November,
Yeah, but if we would have started in November, then
who
maybe,
knows?
Yeah.
You're right. You're not wrong. I agree. But
maybe we weren't ready then.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So here's my second question for you is, do you think that social media is a blessing or a curse for our generation? You can go short term or long term. We'll actually do both. It's a toughie, huh?
Yeah. For our generation, man, this is such a tough question, because there are so many opportunities in social media, and if it weren't for social media and like the way the technology advanced, then like this wouldn't be a thing.
Definitely
and like we wouldn't be doing this, and the career that we want to go into wouldn't exist. And so for us, I would say that it's definitely a blessing.
Yeah.
But I think that I wouldn't say most people in like our age demographic, but a lot of people, it's a curse for them.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So many people go on social media and they put on this show of somebody that they're not, and at the end of the day, that gets to you, like gonna get to your brain and stuff.
Yeah.
And whenever you spend so much time like putting on a different personality for all these people online, then for one, it can mess with your perception of like real life, and it can just ruin all kinds of relationships. And another thing is like some people spend so much time on social media that they just shut out the real world, and like this is the only thing that they know. And so for people like that, I would say that it's definitely a curse. But I would say for us in our situation, like we want this to be our career one day, I would think that it's totally not a curse for us. But
I think it requires a certain type of person to handle it the right way.
Sure.
I think it's like anything. I think it's like a drug, or it's like caffeine, or it's like, like you can just get addicted and it can control your life.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's a different situation where it's less like, there's no real like, I mean, like you're in full control of your consumption of social media. And so you just have to be self-aware and understand like that it can be detrimental to you. I agree with you. Like this is something that we want to do as a career. And so like, but like I fall victim, I'm not going to lie to you. Like I definitely fall victim of like watching like YouTube videos or like listening to podcasts or watching TikToks, and like in my head I'm treating that like it's like work or like it's like research.
Sure.
And like even that though can kind of be like a toxic relationship with social media, because then like let's say that like you use social media as like an escape from like your like work life balance, you want something else, like, then if social media becomes work, then that kind of burns that bridge.
Yeah, it defeats the purpose.
It's a tough spot, but
yeah.
I mean we're not there yet. But sometimes I will fall into that trap, and I'll be like, oh, I've been watching TikTok for 3 hours, and I only have, just been here doing nothing really. So yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever watched it, The Social Dilemma.
Oh, great doc.
It's so good.
Yeah, it totally changes your perspective.
Yeah. So like, whenever you look at it in that kind of aspect too, definitely more of like a toxic type take on social media. But again, it just takes somebody who's aware of that, and
you have to be able to moderate. You have to be able to understand like your situation and your circumstances, and you have to do what's best for you.
Sure.
And you just can't let like what is a cultural norm now of like, I guess, obsessing over social media.
Yeah.
You can't let that dominate your life, because like some people can obsess over social media and it's totally cool with them, but some people just aren't built like that.
Yeah.
And so you just have to be aware of that. That's really it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I do think it's that simple, though, for sure.
All right. So my third question to you is, if you could wake up tomorrow having gained any ability or quality, what would it be?
Oh, man. Okay. Okay. I have a dumb one first. It's not really dumb, but it's not the greatest answer. But I wish that I could function like I wish I could be a morning person and fire on all cylinders at like 8 a.m. Like wake up at like 6, lift, and then immediately after like lift, shower, like jump right into work, firing on all cylinders. I wish I could do that because then I would sleep better. I think like sometimes I will wake up and like I'll wake up and I'll set like a schedule up for myself where like I want to wake up and then I want to lift and then I want to come home and then I want to take a shower and I want to eat breakfast and then I want to start working and stuff like working on a podcast or whatever. And those days for me are I get a lot done because like if you knock out the stuff that like you don't like doing and like I don't really like lifting but like it's good for you and so like you have to do that and so if you knock that out early then you have the rest of your day
to do whatever
to do whatever but also to like be productive you know so I really would like I don't know if I would like it that much but I know I wouldn't like it that much but I wish that I could like wake up at like 6 and like be firing on all cylinders ready to go at like 8. That would be awesome, I think. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
If I could wake up with any ability, I think that I would have to choose probably man. I want to say like time management.
Yeah.
But then I want to like not say time management because I feel like there are other things that I could pick. But I think that like time management is one of the things that I struggle with the most.
For sure.
And like have struggled with for like a long time. And just like my organization skills have never been that good. And so it like makes it hard for me to be productive sometimes. That's probably what I would go with.
It's really hard to I was in the same boat with like organization skills and time management like 6 months ago. But like it's really hard to practice that. Like whenever I started like for me where organization and like time management skills came from was watching like productivity like workflow based YouTubers who make like desk tour videos or like these are how I make my YouTube videos.
Right.
Watching those videos like gave me like little pieces of advice that I could like take and apply to like myself. But whenever I started doing that, I realized that like from age like 6 to age like 17 or even forever like there's no way to like practice your organization skills unless you're around people who are like very very organized and I don't really have that like my family's not overly organized
right
and not that I'm overly organized but like whenever it comes to like my camera gear and stuff like that like all of that's organized and actually I think a lot of it comes from like Casey Neistat and like his studio and how he kind of does his stuff like that's where I got a lot of my like you know this is like only for my gear but like keeping everything in a place where like it's easily accessible and it's always out and it's always ready like that kind of thing so yeah but that just kind of comes with like I don't know it's hard to practice that
I usually and it's like different for everybody you just have to find like the way that
makes
works
sense
best for you
exactly
because like something that helps somebody else stay organized and stay on time might not help you so
exactly
you can watch as many YouTube videos as you want to but until you find the one that's like oh yeah this is gonna work for me
exactly and I think that what it is too though is like you can watch those YouTube videos and then like it'll like spark your interest like maybe you don't just take something from it maybe you're just like that's a good idea and then you just apply that to everything though
right
so you know but yeah time management's tough time management's actually one that's like the worst I feel like everybody struggles with that not enough hours in the day I guess
there's plenty that's just
if you do it right
but
that's the tough part my next question for you is what's something that you think that people that are in our age demo neglect like as they're kind of like growing up
so I don't want to speak for everybody but I would say that something that I neglected whenever I was growing up is that I had plenty of time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and people always say that you have plenty of time which is like true but it's better to find what you want to do whenever like as soon as you can. And so growing up in high school and like going through middle school, I always wanted to be a teacher. And the reason why I wanted to be a teacher is because that's what my mom did. And then my dad, like whenever I was growing up, was a police officer, but then he moved over to working at a college and like he did some teaching. And so I was like, oh, and then my sister, she wanted to be a teacher. And so I wanted to like follow in the family footsteps.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And later I found out that like, no, I don't want to follow in the family footsteps. Like I want to do what I want to do and I want to be different like while I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And so I wish that is something that I would have figured out earlier in life so that I could have been like starting on it sooner. And this goes with like a lot of things that I've taken up in life too. So whenever I was a kid, I always played baseball. But then like whenever I got into high school and like quarantine started, I started playing golf. And I'm like a decent golfer.
Yeah.
And like my whole life is like I never picked up golf clubs. So it's like I wonder how good I'd be at golf now if I would have started playing golf whenever I was
7.
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you can take that in like all directions of life, but and like it was hard for me too because I didn't really get the opportunity to like know that this is what I wanted to do until I was in high school.
Yeah.
And like whenever I found the opportunity, like I took the opportunity.
Definitely.
And
did it better than anybody else.
Right, and that's why I'm here doing this today.
Yeah.
But I just wish that I could have figured out that this is what I wanted to do,
right.
and like been like working at it and like practicing whenever I was like earlier in age.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. That's a good answer. I think I would have said exactly what you said, but I'm going to take it in another direction, and I would say something that people neglect is people that are in our age that they neglect whenever they're in high school is that sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
And how you're always around your peers and you're always around people, and even in college you're around people who are in the same place in the world who are doing similar things to you. Mm-hmm. And whenever you're around people like that, you're able to like find people to be like connections with, or people to like work alongside. And that's something that a lot of people definitely neglect. Like whenever we got out of high school and stuff, like we've talked about this, like what I missed from the studio whenever we immediately left high school was being around other people who wanted to like make videos and stuff.
Right.
And not having that made it a lot harder to like be motivated. Mm-hmm. But if you're around people who want to create stuff, it becomes easier.
100%.
That's with anything though. Like if you are around people who want to become doctors and you also want to become a doctor, you're going to do a lot better than somebody who wants to be a doctor but he's hanging out with farmers.
Yep.
No disrespect to anybody there, but it's just the truth.
Yeah.
And like that's even kind of based off of this thing that I heard on TikTok where like this girl, she wanted to take her business to become a multi-million-dollar business. Mm-hmm. And she was from some little town in Michigan. And she said that like if you were a millionaire in Michigan, then you were the richest guy on the block. But she moved to California because then if you were a millionaire, you were the poorest person on the block. Yeah. And so it's a different mentality.
Right.
And so being around people who are in the same mentality, the same headspace as you makes it so much easier to just win.
I totally agree.
Yeah. And so that's what like whenever you're in high school, don't miss out on like meet people, become friends with people, but figure out people that like don't be friends with people because it's like cool to be friends with them. Be friends with people because they have similar mindset to you. They have similar values to you. They're like going on a similar path to you. It doesn't mean the same path. Yeah. But a similar path. And that's really important.
Yeah, I think that's definitely huge. And what a lot of people don't realize too is that the people that you're friends with in high school, like most of the time after high school you don't speak to them. And so like I know like a lot of people who are like I would consider a friend from high school, like I haven't heard from them since graduation. You know what I'm saying? And so whenever you think about it like that, it's like you're more likely to keep in contact with the people who are like interested in the same things as you and are trying to achieve the same things as you, like after high school. So
exactly.
Like if you want to like create good friendships from school, like
you need to have something. My advice is you need to have something deeper than I like talking to this person, or this person is funny, or this person has a pool, like you know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
You have to like disconnect from like the traditional like friend things, and like this is like a overthinking process of it, but like think of it like a business. Mm-hmm. Think of everything like a business, but think of like how you pick your friends as a business almost, where like yes, like he's funny, and yes, like he whatever, but also he's really good at like managing time or organizing, or he's really good at like managing people or managing ideas. Like get people who are like good human beings, like outstanding human beings,
Yeah.
but also people that can help you along your career path. And even if you're disconnected in what you're trying to do, like maybe you want to skateboard and I want to sell medicine,
Yeah.
like maybe there's a connection there. And maybe you could help me along that path. You know what I'm saying? So just don't ever, like, don't pick your friends, like Caleb said, in high school, like whenever you graduate, you're going to lose like 85% of the people who you think are your friends. And that's no disrespect to anybody. It just kind of is how it is.
Yeah.
Because you realize whenever you graduate high school, you realize how little people that you actually like need to talk to every day to be like happy, I guess.
Right.
So, but yeah, just pick your friends based on something that is deeper than like he's funny or whatever. It's a lot more than that. If you don't have similar values, it becomes so difficult to stay friends long term, and you won't whenever there's distance. So, yeah, for sure.
So my fourth and final question for you is pretty simple, and it's just, what is your dream in life?
Dream in life is doing this for the rest of it. But on like a deeper level, still career based, because like I don't have like family goals. I don't have a family. I don't know what that looks like yet. So it's hard for me to like place goals on things that like aren't real yet, because you never know where you're going to be. But my goal in life is to do this for the rest of my life, but I want to do it, and I don't want to ever lose like my integrity. I don't want to like sell out. This will get clipped really hard like in years whenever it's time for something like that to happen. But I don't ever want to like sell out, and I don't want to ever make something that I don't think is good, and I don't ever want to put the fans and put the audience through something that isn't good because it was a cash grab, and I just don't ever want to do anything without the creative integrity of doing it. And so like I don't ever want to release something if I think it sucks. I don't ever want to sell the t-shirt that I think is ugly. That's really it. I want to be a creator, and I want to do it all like the right way. Yeah. And that's the goal.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. I'm going to take it on another side of things, and I am going to look at like a family aspect.
Yeah.
So I think that my biggest dream in life is to have a family someday. And so like, and one of my biggest goals that like I've always had since I was a little kid is like to be a dad and like to be the best dad that I can be. And I think like I get that because like my dad has been like my role model for my entire life, you know, and I just want to be that to like my son too. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying that I'm going to have a son. I don't know, but just like if it's like a girl or if it's a boy, like whoever it is, like my children, I just want to be the dad that I had whenever I was a kid. And so I think that is one of my biggest goals in life. And another goal is like definitely to do this for the rest of my life and to make a career out of what I love to do just because I have the opportunity to do it, you know?
Keyword is make a career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one of my goals like that I really want to do is, like I said, that's all true with the whole like create with integrity and all that stuff is absolutely true. But another thing that I really want to do is I want to inspire and give the opportunity to the next generation of like young creators.
100%.
Because I feel like we've talked about this a ton on and off the pod, like where if it wasn't for the studio, there's no way we would have been here.
Yep.
And I feel like indebted to that. And so, and I realized that like we were from a small town, and like that is not indicative of the whole world, or even like the whole U.S. But giving that same opportunity for people that are 15, 16, 17, 18 to be in a physical space with other people that are interested in creating and getting the chance to start.
Yep.
That was a game changer for me, and I feel like it could change the world for everybody.
Yeah, and I like not trying to like boast or like toot our own horns or anything, but like we've experienced that too.
Yeah.
Like we have, like whenever we were in school and like we were seniors, like we were helping the underclassmen, and then like even after we graduated, we still like went back and like helped with the studio. Just because like that is one of our goals. Like we just want to give back to like the younger generation, and like for me personally, like I want to give back to
the physical space.
Yeah, like the place that got me to where I am.
Yeah, I feel the same way, and that's really important. Is because that's the thing is like we can do this as much as we want. We can sit in front of a mic and talk, and we can make as much money as we want to do, but if that is all that we leave, then I think we failed.
Right.
So, like, all I want though is I just want, and like maybe because like I said, like the physical space is something that I want to work on too for sure, but I want the whole world to be inspired by what you and I do.
Yeah.
And like the way that you and I kind of came to be here. And so I feel like by doing that, maybe it's like an online thing. Maybe it's just like being somebody who is like authentic and like open enough, I guess, to where people are like, why can't I do that?
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel whenever I look at creators. Like, and it's different because like I have the skill because like we've worked on it, but like I look at creators and I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, and but if you're not in the space, like in the creating space, like you could look at what we have right here with this mixer and these cables and that computer and this piece of paper, you could be like really confused. And I get that.
Yeah.
But like the skill set is the easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardest part is creating with integrity.
Yeah.
Long term.
100%.
And that's what I want to like give that perspective to the younger generation.
Yeah, you never want to fall short of that.
Yeah. Because if you're not doing it for yourself, then you're not doing it for anybody.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was a good one. All right, so my last question for you is, what is the best advice that you have ever received?
I would say the best advice I've ever been given is like such a simple thing that everybody is told like so many times in their life, but it's just don't give up.
Yeah?
I think that is something that like I've done well like my whole life, and I think it's something that like we get told all the time, but it's something that is so true and like everybody needs to hear like so many times just because of how easy it is to forget. But like dream big, and then like whenever you have a dream, like go for it and don't stop until like
You're satisfied.
yeah, like don't stop until you get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then like whenever you get there, like keep going, you know?
Because why not?
Like push yourself. See how far you can go.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that is huge in like this aspect of my life, like the creating aspect of my life, just because if every time I like found something hard or like I did something that was hard or like did something that I was like, oh, I really don't want to do this. Like,
Dude, I would have gave up when I was 16.
Yeah, like along my path, and like there's no way I'd be doing this today.
Dude, we would have gave up first semester senior year.
Exactly. I mean, like you have to do so many things that you don't want to do just to get to the things that you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And yeah. So I would say like just don't give up, because it's so easy to face a challenge and then be like, oh, this challenge is too big for me.
Yeah.
Like I can't handle this
Get
right
intimidated.
now. Yeah, and then be like, I'm gonna put this away for a little while. But like even to me, like that is like giving up.
Yeah, because there's no way you're gonna go back to it.
Exactly.
At least I know that I wouldn't go back to it.
I wouldn't go back to it if there's something that's hard and I'm like that is that hard and I'm like I'm gonna put this away for a little while. Like there's no way I'm going to touch that again.
It's like subconscious.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I feel like that's something that like I've been told so many times that's just so easy to forget that I wish that I could have like embedded in my head for like my whole life and like never had to been like.
You wish you never had to be told don't give up.
Yeah, you should never have to be told.
Yeah, but it's tough.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like so easy to like face something and be like, this isn't for me. But it's like what people don't understand is the getting started in anything is the worst part.
It's definitely the worst part. Yeah.
So
for sure.
As soon as you get past that spot where it's like the getting your feet wet and like getting into it, as soon as you get past that part, then
it's a snowball effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
Totally agree. All right. So the best advice that I ever got is, I don't remember where I got it from or like what age, but I recently saw a TikTok that was like exactly the same statement, but I just remember it from whenever I was like 12 or whatever. But it was, if you want to be, and it really relates to like where you and I are now, but especially like over the past like year, it was, if you want to be in the 1%, you have to do what the 99% is not willing to do.
Yep. And
basically what that means is you have to like outwork everybody.
Yeah.
Like you have to be willing to like put the time in, make the sacrifices, do the things that you hate doing, like all of that, if you want to be the best at whatever it is that you do.
Right.
And whenever they say 1%, like it's very easy to just think of that as like financial rankings or whatever of people. But that's not really how I look at it. I look at it more of like the 1% of like my craft.
Yeah.
And so like whenever I say that I want to be in the 1%, I want to be in the 1% of podcasters, 1% of videographers, right? And or even just like I want to be in the 1% of like of whatever it is that I'm trying to do, because I just want to like use that mentality as outwork the people that are around you.
Yeah.
And then another part of that I this is from a different source, but it's not like it's related, is like the 99% and the 1% are only ever relative to you, to like your demographic.
Yeah.
So like, let's say that your goal was to be in the 1% financially, but you're our age. You shouldn't be comparing yourself or your trajectory to like Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
He's 100.
Yeah.
You're 20.
Yeah.
So it's a different ball game. And so like if you're trying to be in the 1% of 19-year-old podcasters, all you have to do is outwork everybody that's in that demographic. It doesn't matter what the 40-year-olds are doing. It matters what the 20-year-olds are doing.
Yeah, that kind of goes alongside with like another piece of advice that I wanted to mention, but
Go ahead.
chose the other one that said, like, find what you love to do and then like be the best at it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
I think so. I just think a lot of people want to be like the best, but they don't realize the work that goes into it.
100%.
And like that's fine. Like I think it's totally okay to, well, I don't think it's totally okay, but I get it if you like have a thing that you want to do and then you take it like 20% to what it could be.
Yeah.
But you're happy with that, then that's fine because you're happy with it. I don't understand,
Right.
Because like I'm not somebody who would be satisfied by being in the top 60% of podcasts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's still 60% of people that are in the same, like room as me, and that's not cool. So I just don't want to be, I never want to be like outworked. And I don't want other people to ever be able to outwork like me in the craft, or even like us as a, whatever. Like I don't want anybody to be better than this podcast. Yeah. And so like you have to, what you have to do is you have to realize that that's your goal, and then you have to take a step back and you have to look at what everybody else does. Mm-hmm. So then you have to get to that first level of playing field, which we're doing with this video. And then you have to figure out, once you get all that going, so like in our case, that would be like audio podcast, video podcast, TikToks, promotion, all that stuff. Then what we have to do is have to figure out, well, what can we do better?
Right.
And what can we do differently?
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
That's exactly how you do it.
Yep.
It's always about looking at what you've done so far and then like figuring out how you can do it better. And like that's why people grow so much, and that's why people who are so successful like in this field are successful. It's because they do things, and then whenever they do something, they figure out how they can do it better, and then they make it better, and then
that's how you win.
They are more successful because of that. And so I think that that's something that a lot of people have to learn, and like that's like a hard lesson to learn, because whenever you are putting out things that you think are good, and then somebody is like, I think you should do this better, that's like hard information to take.
Definitely.
But it's information that you need to be able to take to better yourself, and like to better like this podcast, or like to better like this YouTube video,
to better anything.
Right.
To better construction.
Yeah.
I mean, to better rollerblading.
Exactly.
That's an example that I go to a lot. I don't know why.
Rollerblading.
But
that's so funny because like we literally don't know anybody who rollerblades.
I don't even know. Actually, this is funny. I was going to Salisbury. There was a guy rollerblading down the streets, Main Street, Salisbury. Helmet, elbow pads, everything.
I've never even put on a pair of rollerblades.
Me neither.
Every time I used to go skating whenever I was a kid,
just regular roller skates.
Just roller skates.
Yeah.
I always thought that the kids who did the rollerblading were like tryhards.
I always thought that they were like ex-hockey players.
Yeah.
But then I've also heard that that's not similar at all, which is interesting.
Well, like field hockey. Wait,
they
field
don't
hockey.
They don't wear anything. They just wear shoes.
They just wear shoes.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Who knows?
What am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
I could have swore there was a sport with like a hockey stick and rollerblades.
I think that's just called like roller hockey.
Maybe.
And they
Instead
play
of,
that
like ice hockey.
They play it like here.
Yeah,
outside.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with that said, I don't really know. All right.
Yeah, let's reel it back in.
Yeah, all right. Do you want to do off the dome one more question each? I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. I know that you said that your dad was your like biggest role model.
Yeah.
Do you have a second? Do you have like? Is there like a famous successful person in any field that you treat as a role model as well? And that could be anything. That could be like any person. It doesn't have to be like a celebrity. Just like somebody who is like a professional.
I mean, this person is not famous by any means, but Mullis.
Okay, sure.
He was our studio teacher.
Professional though.
Yeah.
So yeah, that works.
I think he's professional. I mean, he
Definitely.
does that for his profession.
That's what I'm saying.
And so, yeah, I would say that he is my role model other than my father. And not because like I want to be him. Like I don't want to do what he does for a job, but like just the information that he relayed to me and like the relationship that me and him have because of like him being my teacher and stuff. And like if it wasn't for him, this would not be a thing.
Definitely not.
And that might not be true, but he definitely helped me realize that this is what I love to do.
I think it's definitely true. If we didn't have the access to the studio and the ambition that was in that room, there's no way that this
I'm just saying like if it was another teacher, not him.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Okay. I understand what you're saying now.
Like if I was in that class and it was another teacher, not him, like maybe that other teacher would be my role model. But since it was him,
got it.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. That's kind of the answer that I was fishing for because that was the same thing that I was going to say.
Oh,
so
neat.
Yeah, cool.
I was like one of the questions that I've already asked, but it's like different.
Yeah.
What is your greatest accomplishment of your life?
Okay.
Thus far.
It's got to be the football games. Actually, no, it's the basketball games because we did that all. So we definitely have not talked about this on the podcast.
No, we haven't yet.
This gets its own episode though, but we will go into loose detail. So, I would say whenever you and I started working together, like a ton was the basketball games, and so, obviously senior year last year of high school, COVID pandemic. We are in school, kind of. In school 2 days a week.
Yeah, kind of.
Only like, I think it was like 150 people could go to the basketball games, and maybe not even that many.
No, I don't even think it was that many.
It maybe wasn't even
I think
many.
it might have been like 50 people.
Yeah. So, our school started live streaming the basketball games just like on YouTube for the spectators to watch. We're from a small town, and so like the basketball arena would pack out of like everybody's family and stuff, but if only 50 people can come, it's tough. And so like family members wanted to see their kid play or whatever, but you can't bring the whole, the whole bus worth of family because it's only 50 people can come in. So, anyways, so Caleb and I kind of took it upon ourselves to figure out how to live stream the basketball games with announcers, commentators, and that was us.
Yep.
And so over the course of the basketball season, we did that with varying iterations from an iPad and a Yeti Snowball to a camcorder and mics and a mixer, and we crushed it.
Yeah, we did.
I think that was the best accomplishment that I ever got, I think. And but what kind of like iced it on the cake is I was lifting at the gym one day. This was like day after a game day or whatever. And a guy comes up. We were off school because it was like A-Day, B-Day. And this guy comes up to me. And he's like, "You the guy who does the basketball games?" And I was like, "How could you possibly know that?"
Yeah.
Because like there was no like faces.
Right.
But I guess he like was in the arena and he like knew that I did the basketball games. And we like talked for a little while. And I was like, that is cool.
That was the coolest part.
Yeah. Like we got nothing but like good feedback from that.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was no real negative feedback other than like some like hardware stuff, but like we were polishing it up. I mean, like literally, like Caleb and I pretty much figured out the entire thing, like what we needed to do, what we needed to get, how it needed to look, and then those same skills and those same like processes and stuff transferred over to doing the football games, which happened obviously at the same time. Yeah. Normally it would be football season then basketball season, but because of COVID, we didn't have a football season, and so it was pushed until after basketball season. Yeah. And so we did the football broadcast standing in the booth at the top of our stadium in February, and so it was nice and cold and wet and disgusting outside, but it was a blast. So
it was so much fun.
I think that the football games and the basketball games is probably the greatest achievement.
Yeah, probably. I would totally agree with you.
Yeah, I think so.
That is one of the best opportunities that I think we've ever had.
Yeah, because like for reference, it had never been done before.
Right.
And it hasn't been done the same way since.
Yep.
Especially not for basketball. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that was a really good like showcase of like how you and I were obviously in the studio putting in the work, and then like the opportunity was there.
Yeah.
And we just jumped on it.
Yep.
And then we just did it better than anybody else had ever done it, or I guess has done it since. So,
Yep.
That was it. And
like, I know you said that like we did that for like basketball, and we did, but like without Mullis and like without the admin team at our school, like
shout out to them.
It would not be possible.
Absolutely not.
Because anything that we needed, we got.
It was there that week,
and that was like spectacular.
Yeah.
Whenever we had to stay after school for basketball games until 10 o'clock, like they fed us and stuff.
Yeah, that's
like,
facts.
So
shout out to South River Athletics and admin and all those guys. I mean, it was a working partnership.
Yeah,
but,
it definitely.
But we appreciated the opportunity. We appreciated the opportunity, number one.
Yes,
because that was sick. But then we also definitely appreciated like all of the accommodations that they made for us. That was cool. So
would not have been possible without them.
Definitely would not have been. So, but yeah, I think that's probably same for you.
100%.
Yeah, nothing was like that, man. That was a different vibe.
It was so cool and like something that I had never experienced before. And I think like that is really what pushed me over the edge and was like,
I got to do this.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. Do you have any like, I don't want to ramble on this too much, but I just want to talk about the football games and basketball games. Do you have like a memory that like stands out from football or basketball that like was like your like number one moment? Like in the booth or like, you know what I'm saying? Anything connected to it?
I would honestly say that like my favorite part was like probably the behind the scenes and like
setting up.
Yeah, and like figuring out and like after a game, like going back to listen and being like, I think it would sound better if we like said this instead, or like we were like it would be better if we had this piece of equipment instead, and like just like the brainstorming, the one behind it, and I think that was probably my favorite part out of like all of it.
Was all of the behind the scenes?
Yeah, other than being on the air, and like don't get me wrong, I love being on the air.
That was
like,
sick.
Like it was sick, and like having people like listen and giving us feedback is cool. But I've always been like a kind of behind the scenes geek,
Yeah,
and
me
so
too.
I just enjoy that aspect of it. But on the air, best memory is probably whenever we got to be on the radio with Carl Ford.
That was cool. Yeah,
that was super fun. That was a great opportunity too. So
I think so. I have like we obviously have a lot of similar ones, so I'll do two different ones. But I think my favorite memory off the air was going to the coaches and like having conversations with them.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
So like before the football games, we would just go down like during warm-ups, we would talk with coach and just get some like intel and just have a conversation. And it was cool because like we would walk around the stadium whenever nobody's there with like media passes on, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the same thing for the basketball game. So we'd go and we would like sit in their rooms and like ask them questions and write stuff down and have talking points for the show in case we ran out of stuff to talk about.
Yep.
But I think that my favorite actual on the air moment was our last football game. So it's a bittersweet tale because we had all those technical difficulties. We thought, and then we ended up not having technical difficulties. It was a big mess. But we got the second half of the whole football game, and we just knocked it out of the park. It was our best show that we ever did, other than the technical difficulties. And it was like, I don't know. It was like whenever the late night host does his last show and he switches it over to the next guy. It's you know what I'm saying? It was like the book closed.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly
really cool.
what it felt. Man, you're giving me chills just thinking about that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like, it was like as soon as we turned the mics off and like took the headphones off for like the final time, it was just like, man, we did it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly like that. Man, we did it is exactly how it felt.
Man. Such a good opportunity.
Yeah, it was sick. So I don't think anything was better than that.
No.
But I actually think that like the football games and basketball games, those are such a good like metaphor for what we were able to accomplish in the studio. And like everything that we talked about for the questions. Like if it wasn't for us outworking the 99% to do that, we wouldn't have ever been able to do it. Like we made the sacrifices. Like we didn't like go and do the traditional high school football game stuff, and we didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like we stood in a questionable safety booth with headphones on, talking into a microphone. And I wouldn't have traded it for anything. But
Me either.
That was the kind of stuff that like we had to do. But it was the best thing that we ever did, probably.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll top it with this, but
yeah,
as of right now, that's the number one accomplishment for sure.
100%.
100%.
All right. So thank you everybody for listening this week.
Hopefully you liked this format.
Yeah.
I really like this format.
This is a fun show to record.
I think this will be back. This will be a perennial show. I think it'll come back. So for sure, this was a fun one. If you guys have any questions that you want to hear on the next version of this, let us know. We'll write them down, and maybe we'll do like one a month or something like that. Who knows? But just let us know, because this is me and Caleb's speed right here for sure. So
100%.
We want to say thank you so much for listening to this episode of Caddy Corner. Another thing that I want to say is this: if all things go well, and if it doesn't, Caleb's going to cut it out of the show. This is our first video podcast.
Congratulations,
we're
guys,
here.
Watching over there.
Yeah, we're here. You've been here the whole time, I hope. So, if you're watching the video podcast, make sure to subscribe and make sure to like and make sure to comment and do all that stuff. There's a video. There's going to be clip outs on TikTok and IG Reels and stuff like that. Maybe our IG won't be so dry from now on. And
yeah, hopefully. Hopefully we get some time.
That's
some
right.
Content for you guys.
And and we talked about we had a podcast that was entirely dedicated to like their YouTube channel plan, and that's definitely shifted a tiny bit, but it still is on the same lines. I just wanted to address that because that's something that I just thought about. But so make sure that you hit all the buttons, review, rate the show, definitely. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff too. If you're on TikTok, follow us. I don't know how that is gonna look yet, but we'll talk to you guys. You
guys over there.
Talk to you guys over there.
It's awkward because I feel like I should have been looking at the camera a little bit, but like I didn't throughout the whole show. So
I feel like it would have been awkward if we looked at him like this the whole time.
Yeah, maybe we.
Let us know. Is this awkward?
Yeah, if this is awkward, let us know. We won't do it anymore.
That's right. Another thing that I want to say too, and this is at the end of the episode, and this is like for the YouTube viewers, is Caleb and I are both working towards the idea of guests for the show. And since the viewership now it's growing, but it's not like huge, so we're not like gonna get bombarded with like lunacy here. Yeah. If you're interested in being a guest, hit us up.
Yeah, for real.
We have some ideas of guests that we want to do already, and so we'll probably be reaching out to them in the next little while as everybody's kind of moving back home from college and stuff. So if you're interested in being a guest, let us know. That doesn't mean that you're gonna be a guest.
That just means that we'll consider.
But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that one out there too. So I don't even know if we said in the beginning of the podcast anything useful other than just jumped right into the show.
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Okay. Okay. I think we're good though. So just hit all the buttons. You guys know the drill. Follow us on everything. YouTube links in the description. I don't know if it's gonna go up on the same day as this. We're gonna kind of go from there. But watch us on it. Watch the TikToks. Listen to the podcast. Review, rate, like, subscribe, and that's it.
Peace out, guys.